Welcome back, everyone, to the Romans podcast. And we're not joining on the best of note right now. There's a lot of sort of, downhearted feelings in this podcast room right now following the 1-0 loss at home to Slough Town and the perhaps 2 points dropped at the weekend to Enfield Town, who had recently lost 8-0 to Maidstone the game before. We are joined again by my co-hosts for this podcast, Ollie and Joe, and we also have Chris again as our little guest because he was at Enfield and Slough, so he can give us an insight on both games. And we're thinking that it's kind of a bit like a debate podcast again today. So we're doing our second sort of Bath City themed debate. And I guess the debate title, let's say, today is, have our past few performances, let's just say since we've come back from that big gap of postponed games, have our past few performances been down to unlucky, like performances, just getting unlucky, or has it been down to just we're playing poorly, the players aren't giving 100%, the tactics are all over the place and it's not working well? I just will be interested to know what people think of it. So, I mean, Ollie, we'll start with you. What do you have to say, I guess, about how things have been going recently with the fans and the club and the form we're all in, you know?
Well, I'll leave the bit to what I think about the fans for like a later bit when we talk about our recent performance. But I do want to say, so obviously, I think we can all agree the Bath has been very unlucky, especially with like our last minute conceding, our last minute penalties and everything. There's always been a bit of bad luck when it comes to the way how the results that we get due to the games, be either home or away. But at the same time, it's as also with we've got a lot of injuries at the moment. And obviously, you don't want to start making excuses, but Bath are struggling with the players that we've got. You know, the bench is looking more smaller, the injuries are getting larger, the loan players are getting larger as well, and they're also getting smaller because the fact we bring players in and then they leave after a couple of games. You know, it's not necessarily going well with the bench and the performance. And at the same time, with the way that we're playing, at times we do look really good and we do look strong, and then there's games you wouldn't expect us to win, where we put in a good shift and it just doesn't go our way, and then there's games where we play terrible and then it does go away. It's mostly is just down to bad luck at times, and times we just don't understand it. But at the same time, with the way how we play, it does kind of feel like at times, not criticising, where we are kind of like afraid, or not afraid, we don't necessarily want to win it because we play too tight, and when it becomes to a point where we can turn the game around and when we can win it, we hesitate quite a bit. We've seen it as well. We hesitate a lot in the box. We don't know, we can't, we hesitate, we don't want to shoot, we don't want to turn, it's tough. But I mean, you can't necessarily nail it down to one thing. It all is just a combination of all these things, both injuries, limited players that we want to bring in, putting players in different positions and experimenting this late into the season. And so it's just a combination of these small problems that are just causing us to be down here. But that's where I stand. It's a mixture of all these things. What do you think, Joe?
I think it's because we've not been good enough.
You think so?
It's pure and simple.
Yeah.
I mean, you can say that there's a lack of luck, but to be honest, you can't complain about that. You can't complain about conceding a late goal if you've not been good enough throughout the game, if you've been just basically trying to get that 0-0. If you've, the whole game, you've not really been going forward particularly well. You're not putting in the challenges. You're letting passes come through the middle of the park very easily. You're showing sloppy passing, giving the ball away. You can't complain when, sure, the individual moment might be a bit of bad luck, but you then can't complain. So say the game against Slough, right at the end, after we conceded, we improved in some of our play. We had some really good moments up where we could have maybe gotten a goal, and you can go, oh, we were unlucky then not to walk away with any points. But frankly, well, they didn't show that, did they, for the rest of the game? They went behind and then panicked, and then, oh, maybe we can play some football. Maybe we can actually try. You can try for 10 minutes, but it doesn't matter. So yeah, I think it's because we're not good enough. And some of that might be to do with some of the players that we have in. You're talking about the loans, the short loans. A lot of the team is made up. Like, it's really unstable at the moment. Who's coming in, who's playing, how we're playing. Do they care? enormously if they're not here for very long.
But at the same time, we've had players that have been here for years and they've given so much to the club, and then we have loads of players that we like bring in and go, this is going to add real promise that's going to fix our problem, and then they're out, and then we have to rely on loan. We have to rely on these loan players as well. The team, as well as I don't think necessarily the team are fully bonded and know the playing style, because the playing style changes every week. We don't have like this is our lineup, this is our strong lineup. We don't have a good main lineup because our lineup changes all the time. And especially when it works well, you go, oh, well, they can't play there anymore because then this player's back, or, oh, well, he's injured, so he now has to play there to cut. We don't have this lineup as well. That's another bit of concern that you want to look at. But, well, I mean, we'll leave it to you, Chris, because you're in quiet a little bit. What do you want to say?
I'm going to go in Joe's camp, unfortunately. Sorry,
you're going to go Joe?
Yeah. I think we've had some bad luck this season, like you said, yeah, but injuries are part and parcel of the game, mate. You got to deal with them, right? And we've had some bad injuries, but so what? You just got to suck it up and get on with it. Just last night, for example, I totally agree with Joe and what he said, right? They didn't show like they wanted to win that game until we conceded. It was like, oh, let's get out of here with a 0-0. We're at home to Slough. We're mid-table. That's a team you've got to be pressing. It's a team you've got to be trying to beat, yeah? And they just did not look like they wanted to win this game. And then it's like, oh, look, they've done a long ball over the top. Parcells absolutely mullered it. Like, why he's let it bounce, I do not know. Like, put your head on it, mate. Like, centre-back 101, I'm sorry. But he's got to deal with that, and he hasn't. Charlie's off his line for whatever reason. I don't know why he's not on his line. Like, he's not going to come in to claim it. He's just stood in no man's land, and he gets lobbed. And then suddenly, oh, let's show some urgency. Now let's try and score a goal. We can't get out of here with a loss. Well, where was that urgency? Like you said, Joe, where was that urgency for the first 84 minutes, mate? And again, you can tell by my tone that last night really, really did get to me. I was upset. And, like, again, there's no urgency. Like, and Saturday at Enfield, I thought we played quite well. And I wasn't that disappointed with the performance. They created some good chances. I didn't think we did enough to win the game. We didn't create enough clear-cut chances. We started going long ball again because we had Alex up top and, hit the big guy's head and something might happen. And it did. Alex scored a great goal on Saturday. He almost scored an identical second to that when he, like, literally a couple of minutes later. But it seems like we got one game plan, and when they've run out of ideas, it's like we don't know what to do now. And like Joe said, like yesterday, there was no urgency until we conceded, and that really, really did bother me a little bit. It's like, well, if you can apply that kind of pressure, now we're a goal down. Where was that pressure for the first 80-odd minutes? Yeah.
Yeah, and frankly, when we're talking about like individual mistakes and things like that, this is crunch time. This is really bad. Like, relegation is looming on the horizon. You need to be trying to cut those mistakes out. You need to be giving your all every game. Every game needs to be a final, and I don't see that. I don't see that in the players at all.
No, same. Like I said, they were up for the last 6 minutes. Where was it for the first 84? And that disappoints me. Obviously, as a Bath fan, the club means a lot to us lot. Who said something about, does it mean a lot to the players? Well, to a handful of players, yes, it does. We've got our homegrown guys, Joe, Harvey. It means a lot to them. It's their hometown club. But like you say, you're bringing in a lone player for 3 months. Does he care? I mean, it's a horrible thing, but you got to ask a question. Is he going to run through a brick wall? Like Joe Raines will every day of the week? I know he will. But
No, they don't want to get injured. They want to go back to their parent club after showing something of a decent season from them.
Spot on, mate, yeah. Totally agree. I don't know what Darren's seeing with Donovan up top.
I guess just a question on the lone player matter, because you spoke to Moses Alexander-Walker's dad at the Enfield game.
Yeah, I did, yeah.
And he was very unhappy for the fact that, I'm guessing he travelled all the way from Newport in Wales to watch, to go all the way to Enfield, which is quite a far journey. And he went all that way to hopefully see, his son play in this game because he's expecting him to get more game time being loaned to Bath, and he was on the bench and was an unused substitute for 90 minutes. I guess the argument you got to make is how much do you play your loan players and how much do you play your permanent players? And the fact that we've got so many loan players in, do you think that's actually making it a bit difficult for us to actually play our loan players regularly,
Yeah, it is. Spot on what Ollie said just now. It's hard to get a team to gel when you've got 3 month or 3 month loans and 1 month loans coming in. You're trying to shoehorn them into the side, and And like Moses' dad said to me on Saturday before the game, he's like, "Oh, well, I hope my boy plays." And I said, "Yeah, I hope he does too. He's quick, and we need something up front, and he looks a good player." He didn't get a minute on the pitch, and Moses' dad said to me, "Well, what was the point in him coming if he's not going to play?" And he was so despondent. And I felt for him a bit, but it's a good point. Like these players that come in on loan, they expect to play, and when they don't, and then does that disrupt the whole team? Like I think when you get players in on season-long loans, that's great. You've got time for them to gel. Like Putman's come in, and we've got him now till. We've had him since, I think, Christmas time, and we've got him until the end of the season.
And Putman is working really well on the defence, and he has been a really good...
Because he knows he's going to be there, mate, till the end of the season, and Darren knows that, and so does the team. So they're going to gel. They're going to...
Haven't all the loan players we got now to the end of the season, though? I mean, I know that a lot of them came in a lot later, like Skinner and Alexander Walker and Donovan Wilson have come in a lot later, and they're only here for 3 months.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They're 3-month loans.
But you know, they're still here to the end of the season, though. Like,
yeah, but they've come in late, mate. Like you said, at least we had half a season with Jaden at right back, so he's got time. Like I just said, I don't want to repeat myself.
He has time to work, see how the team plays.
Yeah, he has time to work with Darren and to work with the coaches and to gel with the back four. When you bring in a player in this late in the season, we're March. We haven't had many games up to now. Moses has hardly kicked the ball for us. Is he going to have an impact, or is he just? Do you know what I mean? It's such a hard one to call. But you need to bring the lone players in because we've suffering injuries. We've now got no strikers fit because, Alex pulled up with a hamstring last night and Donovan Wilson went down with a hamstring. So we're going to need more cover yet again because everybody's injured again.
Losing these players at this time of the season.
And at this level, you can't have a deep squad like a Premier League squad or Championship squad, League One squad. You're not going to have 3 or 4 right backs in your squad. You're not going to have 6 strikers in your squad.
Do you think the postponed games has been a key part to adding more and more injuries?
Yeah, of course it has. Yeah, because you're playing every 3 days. I mean, it is hard now because, like you say, you play every 3 days. There's more risk of injuries. Like Darren said in his after the game yesterday, he said, we got a lot of guys driving to games every 3 days, and that's contributing to the hamstrings. There's something in that. I think, Will drives to every game. Donovan driving from London. It's not ideal. The local boys get on the bus at Twitton Park and they follow us on the supporters coach,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you do get your fair few that travel by car, isn't it? Like, there's not many players that go in the coach.
Wasn't it like Jordan that pulled up next to you and then asked, do you know where the
the
Odd Down ground
that was the Odd Down, the directions to Odd Down ground. But I mean, back on the topic of the debate, I guess. Everyone's wondering what my view on it, the whole thing is, whether or not we've been unlucky and whether or not it's been poor performances. But yeah, so what I think is, so obviously Slough game, there was the argument that we weren't really pressing and pushing to get that 3 points when it was 0-0, but then as soon as we go 1-0 down, we're trying to equalise, and I can say that, but then you do have to look at the chances we had that when we were coming forward, and that urgency, we did get unlucky in the context of that urgency because Ruben Shepherd had a fantastic shot that hit the crossbar and was unlucky not to go in. There was another shot I think Moses had that was cleared off the line. So in terms of those are 2 chances right there. Both of them go in. It's 2-1. It's certainly unlucky there because it's that is the definition of unlucky, a clearance off the line and a crossbar hit. And, they did well to show that. And Slough were putting everything at the back, so it's not like they were easy opportunities to have. I guess, Joe, what's your take on all that? Like, do you think that the urgency, obviously we spent too long to show that urgency, but do you think we were unlucky when we were showing it?
No, not really. Because what you're talking about is a speculative shot from distance which happened to hit the crossbar. That's not unlucky, really. That's just, actually the fact that it got that close was kind of lucky. Like, it wasn't amazing. And then the thing at the end, it was bundling around. We had the keeper up. Like, no, I don't think really that it was super unlucky.
Yeah,
it's just what happened in a game when we were throwing everything to see what stuck.
What do you two think of it,
Ollie?
Ollie?
I see your argument that's unlucky, but again, I'm going to have to go with Joe. It's just I just don't think they were good enough last night. And like Joe says, it was a great shot, like you said, from Ruben that hit the crossbar, smacked the crossbar. Probably still shaking.
Wait, Ollie, you're the positive one, so are you?
Well,
do
the
you have
guys
your own
tried
view on
their
it?
better. Well, no, I can't. I'm not going to force force this, but I'm just going to say it's unfortunate that obviously that has happened, and I am going to agree with Joe on this one. It is a case that we did, in those last 10 minutes after we conceded, we did try a little bit more, and it is such a shame that we did try a little bit more. And I will say, I'm going to agree with you, and then I'm also going to disagree with you. I'm going to agree that we weren't really necessarily good enough for the majority of the game. We didn't try, and we didn't want it until in the final 10 minutes after we conceded the goal. We then did try, and then we had a couple of shots. And I am just going to say, even if you don't believe in it, I am going to say it was very, very, very unlucky. Especially that absolute. I can't remember who shot it, but when it came off the crossbar.
Yeah. Ruben
So you do agree it's unlucky?
Well, So I agree that but at the same time, I agree that it's. I agree with the fact that we were not playing to our best for the majority of the 80 minutes, but then I have to say I do think it was unlucky that just did not go in, because it just looks so powerful, and just not seeing that.
One thing I will say is the topic of injuries was brought up, and I did see a lot of people talking about this on Twitter. If you look at the players that are injured, and obviously we spoke about Parcells' error at the back that led to the goal, Ollie Tomlinson and Jack Batten, both not in the side. Ollie Tomlinson's out with a really bad injury to his back. I'm not exactly sure how he managed that. It was a Maidstone or something. And I think Batten has some sort of a knock as well, because he wasn't in the side yesterday. Most of the time, when a ball comes over the top, Jack Batten, he's calmly composed and he heads it away. And I know there's a lot of people that don't really rate Jack Batten, and he thinks, he's been at the club for too long and he's like, he's getting past it. But I still think that that's one of the key qualities at the back that we're missing there. Because Parcell, he doesn't really have a cool head at the back. He's a great defender when he wants to be, but Tomlinson and Batten have a certain quality that they possess at the back, which just makes them calm, and they just rest it and they just go and head it away, and we were missing that. And both those defenders out, those are two key injuries, and you can't really go around blaming the tactics for that, because, it's just, all he's got to do is bring in more loan players, but then you've also got people complaining that we're bringing in too many loan players and the loan players aren't playing. So it's like people have to realise that Darren Way is in a very, very tough situation, and the squad is in a very tough situation, because our best player and our player of the season has been injured due to hamstring injuries. Fisher, who's probably our best striker, most lethal striker, Ash as well, both out injured. Tomlinson out for the rest of the season probably. It's a lot of injuries in the squad. Windsor as well. The list goes on. And, I mean, it can just be said that if you're looking at it in the context of if we've been poor or unlucky, yes, the players that have been playing have been poor, but a lot of those players have been loan-ins from other clubs, because we've been unlucky for the fact that our actual first-team personnel have been injured. And you can't bring in first-team players with the budget we've got. So it is very much a large argument for being unlucky for the fact that so many of our key players are out injured.
Yeah, that's a fair point. We got a lot of players out, but let's look at Slough last night. They had 7 of their first 11 injured. Mm-hmm. They won the game.
They had their best player though, Victor Mikowski, and that's if we had 7 or 8 injuries, but we had our star player Will Jenkins-Davis in, and you look at the stats of when Will Jenkins-Davis has played for Bath, we've won 60% of the games that Will Jenkins-Davis has started for Bath, and we've only won 25% of the games in which he hasn't. So Mikowski was still in the side for Slough. Yes, they had a lot of injuries, but I think a lot of sides at this point of the season have a lot of injuries. We are just unlucky for the fact that it's our best players, our best defenders, Tomlinson and Batten, are out injured, and our best player is out injured too, and our best goal scorers are out injured. So yes, Slough have a lot out injured, but it's those players who are out injured which is the difference,
Obviously, the injuries are very bad, and it's not a enviable situation for Darren to be in. But at the same time, if you look at Slough were not playing well.
No,
Slough were not offering much.
It was.
Slough were giving us lots of space to do what we wanted, but we didn't really want to do anything with the ball. Of course, the injuries are a big problem. But you have to try to find ways to adapt, especially when we're looking at relegation. You've got to, in those moments, be giving everything that you possibly can. And I just think that they weren't. When there was an opportunity there, Slough have their injuries, and Slough they didn't have to play for anything, really. They're mid-table, that's where they're going to finish.
And they're already safe from relegation, let's be
already
honest.
safe. We need to be fighting, and right now, we're not.
I do just want to move on, move the debate on a bit towards more fan-based reasons, I guess. And we'll come to you in a sec, Ollie, but I think a lot of fans on social media have gone straight to, blaming the manager, Darren Way, being like, Darren needs to go. We need a new manager at this stage of the season. We've got 2 months left of the season. I'm sure we can wait to the end of the season. I think either way, if we stay up, if we go down, I think Darren, I just can see it. He's going to leave on his own accord at the end of the season. I don't think you should go and blame the manager at this level of football. And I think the reason why fans do that, and I think it's National League South level for a start. Tactics are a very much smaller part at this level than they would be in, say, the Premier League, the Championship, and just the Football League in general. It's about the players you got and the resources you've got. And the people who jump straight to blaming the manager. I know Torquay have sacked their manager with 2 months left of the season, but they're very much a different club and run in a different way. They're a professional club. They are massively underachieving for what they should be, the level they should be at. And sacking a manager 2 months before the end of the season for them seems the right thing to do. But I guess we just want your take. I mean, Joe, what's your take on the situation with the fans calling for a manager replacement this late?
Yeah, I don't think that he should be replaced, because I'm not sure who we would bring in, really. However, perhaps it is time at the end of the season for him to part ways.
A few people are wanting the old Western-Supermare manager Scott Bartlett and the old Torquay manager who's recently got sacked called Paul Watton. But again, I don't see what difference a manager change at this point in the season would make. It did with Jerry Gill, because that was at Christmas time, and that was when there was still a lot of games after the season to claw our way out of relegation. We could have made that decision back in Christmas time. I think if we did lose to Bracknell in that first round of the FA Trophy, I think that was the closest it came to a managerial swap. But we got a trophy run going, and that's what Darren Way promised us, and that's what happened. I mean, just continue on what you were saying, I guess.
I suppose, but I don't think that it's the time to change things. I think with a lot of the fan behaviour too, something that I noticed last night was there was a lot of chants, things like this is embarrassing, and booing the players, people walking out. What do we think about?
I'm just all right. So at the end of the game, or in the last 10 minutes of the game after we conceded that goal, I mean, obviously there was still maybe the odd chant here and there, and then the odd cheer when we would get a corner, or we'd get a free kick, or it would look like we were going to try and make something out of this. But for the times where there would be a mistake or something wouldn't happen, and this is at the time when Bath were the strongest in the game. Say what you want about the performance pre the goal, but this is at the time where we were trying, and I just heard, I mean, I think Chris, you can agree with me on this one, we just heard a Twerton Park that wasn't supportive of the team, that wasn't cheering, that even though there would maybe be the odd cheer, it was just disguised and covered up by just toxicity.
It was a bit toxic towards the end, mate. Yeah, you're right. I don't think that helps anybody. I'm gonna calling out players saying you're worthless.
No, exactly. So
it's not the way to be.
No, yeah, exactly. So when we were there, and we don't really know who said it because we're looking at the game. But when all I could hear, especially at the end, because no matter what happens with the game, and no matter what happens with this team, when you choose a team as a supporter, that is, I mean, I'm going to sound very Liam Rosenior here, manager, manage, you're going to support, it's in the word, you support the team, you back them, no matter what happens, you're there for them. So, hearing fans criticising them, insulting them, saying that they're worthless, and for these aren't professional players. We are, half of the players, they do this. they've also got other part-time jobs as well, and they're not on absolute like mortgages a month like professional footballers. They're here as well, and for some of the players, this is their home team. And to see people, the diehard fans as well, calling them worthless and booing them at full time as well, and the disrespect that they're giving to a team that, even though they're struggling, whether it's luck, whether it's form, whether it's injuries, anything like that, and booing every single one of them. It was honestly disgraceful. And to see some of our fans doing this as well, I was ashamed. And I was down there applauding, and then to my left, all I just hear was the abuse. And you could see it in the players' eyes that they're on there. And whether or not they're trying, or whether or not just they don't want it or they don't want it, you could see it hurts them. And if you go, well, like they're just, if we just insult them or whatever, there'll be more. No, honestly, insulting them and insulting these players, what makes you think that they're gonna,
it's more likely you're more likely to go down if they're in a negative mindset.
Exactly, because then what happens then if we boo them this time, call them worthless, and in the next game we score the winner?
Yeah, they're going to be completely.
Do you think they're going to? Do you think they're going to go over to the players, to the fans, and hug them and say, "We're doing this for you"? After you called me worthless and said that I should not be here, well, it's honestly, we should really be taking a good look at ourselves. And the fans, we're not going to say anything because I don't necessarily know who did it or what happened. But all I could just hear was just all this bit of abuse. It's not necessary, and not for this league.
You see, I think what I'd say about this is that, think about it, Bath are a team in the Southwest, right? And in the Southwest, there are not many teams. Yes, you got your Bristol Cities, your Bristol Rovers. Minus that, there are not many teams around this area that are necessarily Prem level. I guess Bournemouth is probably your closest bet for that. And I think for that reason, people are more likely to support their local, if they live in the general area, as their main team. And I think a lot of these fans sort of view Bath City as their main team. I know I've spoken to several Bath City supporters who say they don't really support a Prem team. And, that's because they grew up in the area. Bath was just the local and there wasn't really many teams. I mean, on the odd, you'd get the odd Bristol Rovers, Bristol City supporter who also supports Bath. But there's a lot of fans who have Bath as their main team. And I think when you get into that mindset, it's the team that you care about, the only team you care about. And that then puts the fans in the mindset of, we have to treat these players like they're Prem players and treat the managers like they're Prem managers, and just say if they're not good enough, they need to go, or they need to get sold, or they need to get out. But whereas if you see like a non-league team in London, for example, say, I don't know, like Enfield, for example, they're 23rd. I spoke to a lot of their fans when we went there away, and they were like, oh, we're in pretty poor form at the moment, but sort of saying in a jokey manner. Whereas if Enfield,
8-0,
yeah, and if Enfield came to Bath, much more Bath fans would be in a much more downhearted mood, saying we're not performing well at the moment and we really need to stay up. But Enfield are like, oh, this is just sort of my part-time hobby going here. I mostly go Tottenham at the weekend, or I mostly go like West Ham or whatever. So it's very much different for each club around the league. And I think Bath is just one of those teams. Think about it, it's a major city in the UK. It's a major city in the UK, and a lot of people live here, so a lot of people are going to have that as their main team.
Well, I also think the fans are entitled to their opinion. At the end of the day, they do pay to watch the team, okay?
Yeah.
So they're entitled to their opinion, but I think there's a line that you can't cross, and that's when you go into personal abuse. But I did hear some last night.
Yeah, but at the same time...
Sorry.
Sorry.
I just want to ask Chris, so booing, not
I'm all right with
any
booing.
player. Yeah.
I'm all right with I'm all
yeah.
right with booing. I'll be honest with you. I'm all right with booing. If you didn't like the performance, you don't think they gave 100%, I'm all right with a boo, okay? It's when you start calling out and you're using certain words and you're getting personal, okay? Yep. That's not on. The guys they don't deserve. Nobody deserves to be personally abused. You can say, I think you're playing poor. I think you've had a bit of a shocking game. I think you haven't played to your standard. You're not giving 100%. I think that's all fair criticism.
But we'll be with you next time, especially not.
But
doing
we still,
this abuse.
But we can. Like I say, there's a line, and maybe we were right. Maybe some fans were right on it last night. I'm not. I do agree with Ollie that abuse, you just can't have it. But I also feel like fans, especially, I know a lot of the diehard fans, and what Oscar said is spot on. It is their only club. Okay, and it's going to hurt so much if Bath go down, and that is why they got like they did, because they don't have another team. They live and breathe their home club. So I totally get their frustration and their anger, But like I say, I think there's a line, and it stops at personal abuse. And I did hear some last night, and I was disappointed in that. But I haven't got a problem with booing a player if you don't think he's. It's tough, isn't it? Like at the end of I wouldn't boo a player during the game, but like at the end, there was a lot of boos. I don't really have a problem with that because I thought the performance was abject. Right,
It was louder than the chants. I mean,
yeah, and I don't want to come across as somebody who is, I'm hateful towards players or I'm abusive towards players. But I think paying fans have a right to voice their opinion as long as they don't cross the line.
What do you think about it, Joe? Because you've
I'd probably be inclined to agree with Chris, really. I don't like seeing abuse, but at the same time, you're paying fans. It means a lot to a lot of people. And expressing a dissatisfaction and a need to improve, I think that's okay.
True, but at the same time, we also got to think that Bath as well, especially for this team in the league, we're one of the only ones that is. You can slap whatever you want on advertising for a team, whether that's true or not. Most of the time, it's false. But Bath is correct about this. It is a community-owned team. It is a team that is surviving purely because of the fact that fans are going there each game.
And it was the fans that voted for that as well.
Yeah, exactly. If the fans voted for it, they got it, and to clap on the team. And if you do this, the booing, obviously, it's not the worst thing. It's part of this, and it's obviously, booing's not good, but, whatever. Anyways, but doing this, when it comes personal, abusing the players and calling them worthless and everything, and just hurting not just the players, but the team and just the morale and hurting the image of what this club is meant to be.
And there was personal insults being thrown last night about players' appearance and everything. And that's just like...
It's just not on.
Stop that. That's not good,
honestly, because
guys,
I do genuinely think... Because, for the last couple of years, Bath has been struggling as well. We have not been a perfect team. We've had our problems. And there have been times where not long ago, we were making our way to the playoffs to get into the National League. And it just went downhill from there. But again, no matter what happens, you can always say what happens at the game and what happens due to the result, but you cannot criticise the players personally and insult them to this level as well. And if you're the sort of fan as well, if you're the sort of fan that cheers when Bath are at their highest and when Bath are achieving stuff, and then the second that they lose or they have a frustrating tie, or once in a while they have a terrible game, and then immediately you get personal, and then you start insulting them like they're not even a person.
I'm not sticking up for abuse by no means, of course. But what I will say is that it wasn't just, we were winning some games and then suddenly we lost a game and they immediately got abused. I think it has been more of a build up sort of thing. It's not just been this one game where it's happened, because as far as I'm aware, this is really the only game where it's got proper bad, Slough. I mean, you maybe get your odd idiot once in a while, like we lose one game after we win, and it happens. But like for the amount it was happening yesterday, that was a build up of losses and draws and losses and draws. It wasn't we won a game and then we lost one and then suddenly they all completely switched, But I do agree with you with the fact that either way, it's not on. Even if it's a build-up of a bunch of poor results, you can't be getting to that level.
Just abuse, again, it has no place, not only in this level of football, but for this team. This is something that I love about this team. It's community-owned. We're meant to be there for the players, for the staff, for everyone that works there and that brings us football, which we're meant to support them through the highs and the lows. Even though the club is on its knees at the moment, we are there to help them out.
We have to stand by them until the end of the season, because the club, if you keep giving them all this, bleep, let's say, if you keep giving them all of this, then it's not going to make them stay up. Though we still have a chance of staying up, right? The best chance we got of staying up is just keep backing them. I like, say whatever you want during the game. Say, you're dreadful. That was an awful pass. But at full time, you should always applaud the players.
Full time, and you need to go down there. Yeah.
I always applaud the players. I will say one thing, and admittedly, every game I always applaud the players at full time. The two games I haven't have been Hampton and Richmond because I left early, and Slough because I left at full time, because I don't think they deserved an applaud, but I don't think they deserve boo either. I'm sort of in the midway. I'm in the midway stage, so I clap every game, no matter what. But if I think a performance isn't good enough, I wouldn't boo it. I just walk out. I wouldn't.
That's exactly what I did last night. I didn't boo, but I didn't applaud them off.
I went down there, and I applauded not because of the performance. I went down there purely just to counteract the abuse that was going on to my left. To my left,
Yeah.
that was all you could. It was
Well, that's
so
good,
loud. I went down there, and obviously, I mean, half the time the players aren't necessarily looking at you. They're just kind of like, looking around and like applauding. But you're there just to say that we're here for you, and you please try to ignore what's happening. Because it was just so... I have never seen, in all my times coming to Tottenham Park, I've never seen it getting that bad. Obviously, I've heard the whole, oh, that was terrible, that was pathetic. Like you said, Oscar, I've seen, like the during the game, I've seen, oh, that was terrible, that was pathetic, oh, you're rubbish or whatever. But at full time, to be doing that...
It's because
to that
people are
hostility.
genuinely panicked now.
Yeah,
about
Yeah, it's like
relegation being
it's
a problem.
people are like, oh my god, we actually might go down.
But don't
Yeah.
turn to this
because they're seeing
hostility. Don't turn
these
to it.
games in hand slowly slip away, not improving, not picking up points, and yeah, people are getting really
2 points from
worried.
12, guys. I mean, that's going to send us down if we carry on like this. 2 points from 12. For last 4 games, we've got 2 points. So
I mean, I guess we're coming towards the end of the podcast now. Is there any more points that any of you three want to raise before we cap off today?
Just stick with the team. Just stick with the team. This team deserves...
Well, definitely until the end of the season for sure. Like,
Well,
stick with them because like we're not gonna stay up if we keep giving them negativity. You have to try and be positive. And as hard as that may be, being panicked and preparing for the worst outcome so it feels better if it does happen, you do still have to try and stay positive. And even if we do go down, we want to enjoy being in National League South while it lasts, at least. So either way, you should be going to games. You should still be trying to have a good time, because best case scenario, you go to every game, you're positive, and we stay up. Worst case scenario, you go to every game, you're positive, we go down. But at least that way you can say, well, at least I enjoyed us being in this league while it lasts. I mean, there's a chance we might not be in this league for a long time. Maybe there's a chance we might go straight back up. You don't know. And that's the thing. You should try and back the team as much as possible, because this could be our last season in National League South for a long time. It could be a season where we stay up. And the best way of enjoying that and getting by the team is by being positive.
Yeah, and I'm going to be, I mean... It's in the chant. You're City till you die. I'm going to be a Bath City supporter, even if it's bloody Sunday league on a on a windy afternoon in a field somewhere. I will still support the team and I will still back them. But we need to, obviously enjoy it and just back them no matter where we end up. We have to do this and just not resort to this, to the horrific stuff that they went through yesterday. We just need to back them.
Well, we will just cap off this podcast. I guess anything else for you or Joe or Chris to say?
no, I will say that I did speak to some of the guys walking out, and they were like, yeah, I was booing, but I was booing more for the tactics and manager, but not at the players, and I didn't want to get personal. But it's hard. It's hard to accept that, because I heard what I heard. Do you know what I mean? And I think we need to, like Ollie says, we need to get behind the players. I do believe they give 100% every game. I do believe that, and we have had some bad luck, and but some games we just have not been good enough, like last night. But we'll keep going. We'll keep supporting them home and away.
Going City till you
Joe,
die. City
Joe,
till you
you
die.
as well, or anything?
I just really hope that things improve soon.
Yeah, that's
all
the
do,
that's
mate.
the best
Yeah,
way
we
of
all
looking at it. Anyway, thank you for tuning into the Romans podcast. We're going a bit over time today, but there was a lot to discuss. Bit of a debate, I guess, about whether or not we've been unlucky or whether or not we've been poor. But next week we will be back, and hopefully with a special guest as well. We'll wait and see. We're unsure yet if George will do his tactical analysis at the weekend, but if he does, that's another video to come there as well. Thank you very much for listening, and goodbye.
Ta-ra.